Alrighty, hello world. Gonna cover something kind of tedious and painful, but I have to get it out there, and it's not too long. Uh, I just got back from the ophthalmologist, and my eyes turned out okay, but they're kind of weird from the dilating drops. So I didn't have these on the drive back, so I had to squint and barely made it home. But actually, I think my vision has actually improved in the past few years, better than 2020 now. So. Um, I think it's probably from all the supplements, just good nutrition. So, anyways, this is about a painful relationship, and the whole lesson is to choose your company wisely and maintain your boundaries. I met this dude in my first year of high school. He seemed really cool, into trendy music and popular cool books from the 70s and 80s, and spoke of becoming a chemical engineer and manufacturing illicit MDMA, which I thought was so cool. He was into snowboarding and surfing, and we basically went to a lot of musical venues in the brief, well, you know, uh, musical events, Southern California. But he's kind of a classic definition of a sociopath or malignant narcissist or something, and he's aware of that from the beginning. He really rubbed me the wrong way in a lot of ways, but I didn't know what I was looking at, and I unfortunately ignored the generally sick, uneasy feeling I would get in my gut. He would say comments like, "If you were in Germany, you would have been a Nazi," or joke about us saluting the Nazi flag. They have women in Germany you wouldn't believe. Mess with one bean, mess with the whole burrito. Joking about getting into physical fights with dudes, being friends the next day. Rabid comments about Jews, and evil, misogynist, demeaning comments about women, calling them bitches and holes, even calling his mom a bitch. I still can't believe I was stupid enough to tolerate this vile shit. He said I needed a woman to just walk all over me to kind of mature, and he's probably right in a lot of ways. I was pretty naive about women and sex, it's kind of a callow cad, uh, even even a chump or a pushover in some ways. Wasn't in touch with my masculinity. Didn't even really. This is my teen years, early adulthood. Didn't even really have a solid identity. But he was so gross, and you talk about sodomizing women. Although I don't believe homosexuality is wrong, he would talk about rationalizing it as in the Greeks did it, or it's just like having a friend you can fuck, and some of that was clearly some kind of attempted, like hinting at seduction or something, even though all of it was totally gross to me. But uh, he experimented too with the other sex. He lost his virginity early, around 13, and I was a virgin for years after. I think I lost my virginity 21 or 23 or something. But he said things like, "It's good to go out with a good-looking dude to get laid, so you can lure a woman in and take her away from him." And bingo, that's a major red flag. That's using people in a pretty sick way. He said how he described, or he mentioned how he fooled around with his full-blooded sisters until his mom found out and threw him out when he was accused of rape. He claims that she later confessed to being a sociopath, which is entirely possible. He said a relative showed him the seduction technique he used to seduce his sisters, which is just appalling for me to try to imagine. And he had, I didn't see it, but he did have far right political tendencies. He was not anti-authoritarian or anti corporate evil. He joked about how in Montana there's kind of an unspoken white supremacy. You driving along and just on the steering wheel and just wave at each other. But I mean, I'm glad I live in a white community, of course, but this was Orange County, California in the 90s, which had the highest concentration of neo Nazis outside of Germany. Probably still does. Um, I met several people with those sinister qualities. It was rampant. There was even a record store called Vinyl Solution, a play on Vinyl Solution. He said if he had been a Roman emperor, he would have been sure to snuff out Christianity. His dad was a bartender and apparently cold, since he only told him he loved him for the first time after my friend was an adult, and that brought him tears. Very sad and tragic. He would take me basically on predatory adolescent hunts for women and somehow get the woman alone to gossip about me and gain power. One girl told me I shouldn't let him do that. I was had my head in the clouds back then. Really wasn't screwed on right. He actually realized decades later that he was a narcissist and possible sociopath. Um, I have to admit, he did have a lot more common sense than I did at the time. I was not an RA or racially aware at the time, or really motivated to get wealthy. He was the opposite. He would hang out with neo Nazis. I found out years later, and even a really rough dude who was like a bounty hunter or something, and knew a hitman who would kill someone for $500. He would like do things like joke about a nervous female coworker, calling her a lab rat. Or when he met my uncle, who's a very funny extrovert, he said, "This is who you invite back to parties." That was, being, seeing people as tools uh, to increase your pleasure. So what else? I was kind of his unwitting lackey, uh, kind of gimpy, and let be a lackey to no man. Sorry, someone said that, and that's kind of horrifying. But he described how when he was at a job doing experiments in a fishery, he joked about dropping a live fish into a tank of hydrogen peroxide and watching it go crazy in the tank while it was oxidizing to death and agony. He found that funny. He said his coworker jokingly, his parents screwed him up. He even told me that he had hacked into his ex-girlfriend's email account and had, quote, learned a lot. I was horrified. He was horrible to her, joking about anal sex and demeaning her behind her back. He even left her on the front porch one time when he came over until my mom said, "Wait a minute, have her come in," For years, I actually engaged in what's called splitting, seeing me as Christ and him as the devil, or the evil good versus evil, Latico virus thing. And indeed, I did have the Jesus virus in me then, whether I recognized it or not. Whereas he was this dark, saturnine, analytical guy who saw everything as material, zero spiritual or religious inclinations. So the relevant archetypes here would probably be Jesus and Hitler, total opposites. He spoke of coming across a dying cat that had been hit by a car, which apparently motivated him out of compassion to strangle it with a hand. Say what? He gloated, "I've had 10 blondes," and later, "I messed with all of their butts." And he confessed to having rape fantasies, which appalled me. This is all over several years, even decades. And he would flaunt his wealth or cocaine use, or a big red flag. Wow, I'm a fucking genius. I discovered that if someone tells you that, just run away right then. Aimed it right there. Especially when they get that gleam. He was the spitting image of the label on bottles of arrogant bastard ale. Let me show you. Let's see, is that it? Can I see that? Am I doing this right? I'm sorry. Oh, upside down. There it is. That's him. That's him. The eyes, especially. So in wrapping up, let's see. He had that insidious smirk, as in look how smart I am. He was all about mammon, greed, and trying to hook up with wealthy people, and trying to destroy relationships I had with other friends or family. It's like this strange entity has been treading on my heels for most of my life. A lot of psychopathy there. He remains one of the most ruthless people I've ever met, but I'm happy for him that he has become successful in his chosen career and started a family. Truly. This whole thing has been a sick tragedy, I think, for both parties. He hurt me, so I hurt him back. I chose a vengeful path. which is almost always wrong, and I've deeply regretted my actions there. No one is entirely evil, and he does have many redeeming qualities and has experienced his own set of profound suffering throughout his life. He is human. He is a devoted family man now, and I wish him all the best in life and a long life, even though he still has kind of a low level personal conscience, kind of a faulty moral compass there. So, in the end, choose your company wisely. That's the whole message here. Don't act like some idiotic oceanic Dalai Lama around these kinds of people. Um, let's see. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for many more podcasts in the near future. I'm going to cover my supplement list, all 14, and a special one expressing gratitude for various family and inspirational experiences throughout my life. Oh, wow. Glad to get that over with. All right, peace out, world. Till next time. Bye.